Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Strand Podcast. This is Naved, and for this episode, I was actually joined by four of my friends from all around the globe, or should I say, four of my strands from all around the globe, who were Ashler, Devesh, Johnny, and Anna. And in this episode, we do briefly talk about why we wanted to do this podcast and what was the concept behind it. But just to give a brief overview of this episode, this was recorded on the 25th of October. And what we did was basically discuss stuff about Death Stranding prior to that date. And we also discussed shared our thoughts about the game, some of the disappointments we had so far, some of the expectations. And we jumped from one topic to another topic a lot. And this was basically what we wanted to do in the podcast because that's how usually our post discussions after the main Death Stranding podcast are all about. So yeah, this was an amazing experience. This was so wonderful to see and just listen to different ideas and theories and inspirations from all these lovely people, and how Kojima kind of relates to it and how Death Stranding relates to all these different topics. So I really hope you guys enjoy this podcast. We are planning to do a lot more in the future, and we would love to know in the comments below what you guys think of it and what you guys think we should add to this podcast. So here's hoping that you will really like this podcast, and happy listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Strand Podcast. This is basically going to be a branch of the main Death Stranding podcast, and all of us that are going to be in the podcast are basically people who have been on the Death Stranding podcast as guests, and we all have a group that we also talk in on Instagram and Telegram, and we were like, you know what? Every time we get on a podcast, we do end up spending hours after it has finished recorded just discussing stuff about that stranding. And some of us were like, all of this should also be recorded because sometimes we talk about so many amazing things, and we do actually, move way away from the main topic, but that's the fun of it and that's the beauty of it. And we were like, this definitely should be recorded. So here we are. And all thanks to, of course, the great Albert Chessa, who brought us all together and, made us made us make these connections basically. And yeah, all thanks to him. And with me today, I have Ashler, Johnny, and Devesh joining the first Strand podcast. This is going to be a very informal kind of podcast. And yeah, so I would pass this on to Ashler and just ask him, what made him join this podcast, what made him interested in this one. So yeah, go ahead, introduce yourself and let the viewers, let the listeners know.
Cool. Well, I'm Ashler. I'm a freelance artist, and how I got into the connected with Albert is I was doing stuff on the Reddit, the subreddit, the Stranding subreddit, and just posting theories on there and art, and then eventually he kind of reached out to me and pulled me into the fold. So, which I'm really happy to have happened because I met some amazing people this far. So, and hope to meet more. And I'll move it on to Johnny.
So, g'day everyone, I'm Johnny. I am an evolutionary biologist, but that is my part-time job because my full-time job is a Death Stranding theorist. So, I met Albert through his podcast. I used to listen to it at work. I still do. And he actually reached out to the community asking if anybody wanted to join. And I'm like, this is my chance to get my crazy ass theories out there. So a few emails after, here I am, and I met these great people, and I have fun time of my life chatting with them about the things I love. So I'll pass it on to Devesh.
Hi guys, this is Devesh. I run an IT consulting business, and apart from that, I also share like all the people sitting around here the hobby of playing video games since like I happen to be conscious around. So if I talk about what got me here and what contacted like helped me contact with Mr. Albert Chessa was I have been very much passionate about this game Death Stranding that was that was revealed on in E3 2016. So it was just a matter of a few communications on Instagram, and then he just invited me onto one of his podcasts, and I literally had a great time. And due to him and the community itself, I happened to meet a lot of great people. And so yeah, let's just continue with this thing further. And yeah,
Well, that's awesome. Well, glad to have
okay.
all you guys here. This is really interesting. And one thing you can tell that I suck at hosting, but this is a good start. I mean, guys, 2 weeks to go. 2 weeks to go to that Stranding.
Yeah,
How does
Right.
that feel?
It
Nuts.
is crazy.
Yeah. It
right.
seems like it's happening slow but fast. It's weird. It's,
Yeah, it's like the
it's-
reverse time fall effect.
Yeah.
As closer we get to the date, the freaking time is getting slower and slower, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh man. And the spoilers are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Too many
And
BTs.
I
It's
know,
really
man.
hard to just avoid all these spoilers and the really, the abundant information that is like spreading around in the internet. But thanks to the mods that have been helping around cleaning all that stuff and,
Oh, yeah.
preventing people from getting spoiled. Just like me, I
Oh,
couldn't
they-
control, but yeah, I still, yeah.
They're
I had to
taking a few
take-
for the team. Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I had to take one for the team on our Instagram chat.
Oh, dude.
I have seen things that no human being has seen before or should ever see,
Oh,
until
no.
of course the game comes out.
Damn.
Yeah, that was just that was something, right?
Yeah.
That was something. But now, like every day, every time I'm like free, I'm like, oh, should I go look at the subreddit and see if I can find
Nope.
something? And then I'm
Nope.
like, why
Yeah.
the hell am I doing this to myself? It's
No,
so
yeah.
it's so crazy. But yeah, as Devesh said, hats off to these moderators who are
Right.
just getting spoiled every day. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
only
bad for
go
these
Yeah.
guys.
go on there to post start, so that's it, and I'm gone.
And then you're
In
gone.
and out.
Do you even read what people say on your like I'm gone?
No, I do, but I think there was a scare once. Someone actually said something. It's like, is that a spoiler? And it's like, then no, that's a joke.
No.
But for half a second, my heart stopped. So it's like, no.
Oh no, I know. You guys, Asher
Been
is
through
the
it.
lucky one, right? Who's not been spoiled yet.
Yeah, the closest thing is
I think so, yeah.
what is it? What is the closest spoil? Is that weird thing with the Conan thing, which I ended up watching,
Oh.
and then also what is it? It like minutes after I saw it, I saw like a bunch of it on my Instagram feed. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm glad that I actually actively went and spoiled it, because
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing with spoilers is
Mhm.
if I'm actually doing it, spoiling it myself, then I feel like I have control over
Yeah.
it, and I don't
Yeah.
feel
Mm.
as ass hurt about it. So
You can
Mhm.
stop whenever you want.
yeah, exactly. But if it's if I accidentally happens, then it sucks. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I saw something
hurts.
today and I sent it to Johnny and Devesh as well. That one image. It wasn't
Yeah,
really
that
a
was
spoiler
beautiful.
thing. I know, it was just a screen grab, and I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
out of context, anything's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
But
For me, like if I talk about for me, the thing that just got like spoiled, is I just couldn't control like the very few days, like the very first days when the spoilers like started rolling up, and I just went through a couple of lines that spoiled a bit of the how the game starts and how it that which I was really started like excited like about, like I just wanted to know like how the beginning
Mhm.
places up and everything. So yeah, it just got spoiled on that part, and that's much it, I guess. Nothing else
Yeah.
that has been
Yeah.
a bit of spoiler for me.
Yeah, I guess you and Johnny both, right? Got the starting part spoiled?
No, I actually managed to skip that one. I just
Okay.
again,
Well-
just some out of context screen grabs I've seen. That's pretty much it.
For
Did-
me, it's the opposite
Okay.
of Devesh. I don't know about the starting, but I know something about the ending.
Oh no.
Ah,
And
so
that's weird. It's not
shit.
like a
So we
spoiler,
did see
spoiler
the
ending,
same
but there's
one.
something about the ending that I
No.
kind of got spoiled, which I'm not really happy about. But
Well,
yeah,
did
but it's interesting. So I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it.
Did Devish actually
But
get spoiled,
anyway,
or did?
let's move on. Let's talk about Ashler's artwork, the Inktober that he's been doing. It's so well done. Some of the artwork that you've done is just amazing. So Johnny and Devesh, what has been your favorite artwork by Ashler so far?
So, without the shadow of a doubt, the
Mhm.
GIF of how the world is supposedly working in the game,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
that was just incredible. But
Yeah, no.
the ones I really enjoyed the most were
Mhm.
the three characters that we don't even know if they're in the game or not.
Oh yeah.
Which is the red masked Ludens, the
Mhm.
female Ludens,
Mhm.
and the like the Tenchu soldier, the black one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just like
Mhm.
you're giving
Yeah.
me those vibes that how can I say, like I don't know anything about them. I'm so intrigued.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I love the one you posted today with
Oh, yeah.
Kojima in the goo,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
another
that was
amazing
fun.
one is the other side when you've got Sam and
Oh, that's
Mads connected through the strands. That
Yeah.
was awesome. Awesome
that
picture.
that's my favorite so far. I love that one. It's
Yeah,
such a cool comparison. And yeah.
Yeah.
What about
That
you,
w-
Devesh? Mhm.
For me, it's like a no-brainer when it comes to Inktober of Ashler's, and which was, the representation of the complete world, like how the journey begins for a player and then how he dies and how the other side is connected to it. So
Mm.
even till now also, yeah, like, it has nothing been confirmed from the official level if I talk about like what really is going on.
Mm. Mm.
That said, that particular piece of art just made the most complete sense till now that anyone
Mhm.
could give without being exaggerating about or being
Yeah.
overthinking about any concept or something.
Mhm.
So that by far has been the most impressive thing that, and even,
Mhm.
if a person who doesn't understand yet about anything about the game, when he or she like sees that particular concept, like everything starts to make sense then, like
Then
after that seeing that particular piece of
yeah,
art. So that's
true.
really fabulous.
I
Yeah.
thought I was thinking like even if that is not the way it works, that can always be used as an idea for one of the games that we
Yeah.
make. So
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah.
so
No,
but
yeah,
yeah.
truly.
What about Ashler? So tell us your favorite
oh,
work. Have you already put it out?
I haven't.
And
I think my
yeah.
favorite piece I haven't put out yet because
Ooh.
the remaining pieces. I want to say tomorrow's is my favorite. It blew me away.
Oh,
It's like,
that is
but then
awesome.
there's another one has a similar vibe to it, but and
Mhm.
it seems it's weird that I did it, and I think it's the second and the last one that I'll be putting out. But yeah,
great.
look forward
Also,
for
at,
that. So
at the time of recording, tomorrow, 26th of October, it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just for
Mhm.
context, if you want to
Context,
look
yeah.
at it, it's going to be the
Mhm.
26th of October.
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know
Yeah.
when we'll be putting this out. So
We're looking forward to it. All right.
Oh,
So
we're putting out all right.
oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, that like how many more do we have left? What is it?
13 more after tomorrow. 13 or 14 more.
And the
It's already 13
satisfaction.
days.
Oh,
Well,
the
Yeah.
Inktober. Okay.
Inktober's is
Ah,
a little bit less.
Okay.
5. No, 6.
6?
6.
Is that
6
where
more.
6?
Yeah, 31st.
26.
Mhm.
Yeah, 31st. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're at day 25 right now. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we have already posted. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Yeah, 6 of them left.
So, yeah,
Awesome.
and
That's awesome. Mhm.
they've gotten crazier as they've gone.
Oh yes.
gone
Oh
on.
yes. So I can tell you're definitely
Mhm.
saving the
Yeah.
best for the last.
Well, it just happened that way because I feel like there was like this roller coaster ride with it, where every time when I went up a little bit higher with the difficulty, it
Mhm.
got more and more, and
Mhm.
then at the end, now I'm like going up, and there's probably not going to be a drop from what it feels like.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
great.
so Ash, how is it actually drawing these daily for you? How is this challenge holding up for you?
Well, for me, what I did is because the couple times I've done it prior, it was hell, to put it lightly, to try to do it every day.
Mhm.
So what I did is I did crunch. I did 2 a day.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'm
Makes
done.
sense.
okay.
I'm done with all my pieces now. So I
Oh,
could
that's
actually
good.
go to Halloween parties because that made me sad the last time I did it. You know, it's like I have to finish this
That's really
game.
awesome.
So yeah,
Have you
I'm kind of
decided on
fun.
your Have you decided on your costume?
Yeah, I think I'm just doing a little bit of an update of a costume that I did prior, but I'm probably
Mhm.
going to be doing a couple different costumes. The main one is a Noir Punisher costume.
Ooh, okay.
I don't
Oh,
know if you
That's a
know
good one.
that art design where
Hmm.
the skull is a mask.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's
it's
awesome. Johnny, are you going as Troy?
Am I going as Troy? No, I'm actually. My girlfriend's colleagues are coming over. We're going to go watch
Ooh.
Doctor Sleep.
Oh, I'm hearing some really good,
oh,
like
oh
initial impressions are really, really good. The critics are
yeah,
raving about it.
that intrigues
Yeah.
me.
Right.
So we're going to be watching that. And well, I got dressed last year as Tom Riddle.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I took
Oh,
out my Harry Potter nerd. And yeah, so this year is just going to be chill. I'm just going to wear my Death Stranding t-shirt and I'll be a BT.
Oh, that's
I'll
cool.
just randomly grab
Uh,
people at the movies.
oh my god, that'll be pretty cool. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to any Halloween parties this year. Not even
Mm.
sure.
What was your
But
most memorable
ooh,
dress up?
it was Ryuk
Ooh,
Death Note.
oh,
yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was so funny. I actually went to this frat party. So, and I went there and I was dressed up. I was actually also taking the pictures of the party. And I went there and I made a custom book and everything, and I had it with me. And people actually wrote down names of people they wanted to kill. it's, so- it's so funny.
that's
Like,
the best cosplay that I guess
yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone was
imaginable.
like
Yeah.
drunk, and I'm like, oh, I don't want this guy to live. I'm like, okay, write it down. And
Just
I
don't
like,
sign your own name.
exactly. I had a few of, like, I think 2 or 3 pages filled up for the page from the book,
Damn.
so that was interesting. But yeah.
That's fun.
Hmm.
What about you, Devesh?
Well, like since I hail from India, we do not have that, the culture of celebrating Halloween as such.
Hmm.
So it's been like, I've been that sort of a spectator that just has been fascinated about it, and like I have been observing through the media that I have been consuming since my childhood. So that's
Hmm.
pretty much how I know about it. But yeah,
Hmm.
that being said, since last a few years, like in cities like Delhi, from where I belong, there have
Hmm.
been a few Halloween parties that have started conducting. So I
Yeah.
might go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
As of
not?
now.
they're fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was
Yeah,
Negan
absolutely. It
once.
seems like it.
I think the last one I was Negan from Walking Dead. That was
Oh.
fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so that being, we did covering Tober. Okay, Devesh, remember last time we were
Yeah.
just talking randomly, and you came up with a really, really good question. So
Oh,
go
yeah.
ahead and
Okay,
let's
cool.
Yeah.
put that out again. Yeah.
So, it's a question for all of you guys. Thing
Mhm.
is, like as being mentioned, the last time when we were in conversation, I had like this thought just come up like out of the blues where I asked guys, like, what as per you is that has already been shown and that you do not know has either spoiled the game for you right now or could spoil it. So what I mean by it, like what has that has already been shown has disappointed to you, has disappointed you guys like to a certain extent, and what could spoil this game for you like that you do not know about as of now, and it could disappoint you in terms of gameplay purposes. I wouldn't want to go towards the story thing because that's a very subjective matter. But yeah,
Mhm.
as like if I talk about the core gameplay part of the game, what has already like disappointed you guys, and what could disappoint you when you
So
play the game?
let's put Johnny on the spot. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, so what disappointed me that I've already seen
Mm-hmm.
is
Right.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen enough Troy Baker.
Okay.
And you
Oh.
probably the
Hmm.
guys probably saw this coming miles away.
Mm,
For the people listening, I have a man crush on Troy Baker and all his acting roles in the games. But
mhm.
jokes aside,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared that Kojima's going to fall in the same trap he did with MGS5, where the game is too
Okay.
empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that if this huge project is what he says it's going to be, we're going to start off with jack shit in the level,
Mhm.
and the game is
Right.
just going to construct and construct, and we're going to build cities, roads, and connect everything. So I think we're going to be extremely lonely for hours until we start building the community up.
Mhm.
That's deliberate. As of now,
Yeah.
as per him, he has
Yeah.
just said that
Yeah.
it's an artistic vision that he has, that you would, and he would want you guys to, like, while playing the game, for at least like starting, that we know of, that it would be damn, like, dark level of emptiness and loneliness. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
What about you, Ashton?
Oh gosh. Let's see. So, what were we doing first? Are we just doing like seen and unseen? Both?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
take it as you want.
Let's see here. Trying to recall what I said last time. I think notion of what we have seen gameplay wise is it was the assets, like
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
actual putting down bridges and the roads and kind of that stuff that they've shown seems like it's going to be a little bit lackluster, and I want there to be like more to it. But I know I said something that about it, maybe that the gameplay may fall back to the character more, so that that's not an issue. So the notion of actually instead of using roads and actual physical stuff, we're gonna just use like teleportation and cheats and stuff via the character instead of actually having to put stuff in the world, because I feel like there's got to be a limit to that, but I kind of want it to be
Yeah,
crazy. I want there to
Yep.
be I want it to be
Minecraft level.
Minecraft or some of the other games that are creative along that line. So, but
Did you guys ever get into Minecraft?
yes,
I never got out of it.
yeah, yes,
Okay.
still like it.
So,
Let's see
so
here.
I'm pretty
What
happy
is-
because this is going to be pushing Minecraft into a serious game.
right,
Mm.
right.
I've-
Unseen though, I don't. What is unseen that we? I guess is that seen or unseen? That's kind of both on that one that I did.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll just leave that as that.
Yeah,
All right.
right. And then you
Well,
have it.
well, with me, I mean, see, for first of all, I've never played a Minecraft game, so but I know what the game is like, so I get where you guys are coming from, and for it to have more assets. But let me think. What did I can't even remember what I said about what I've
Right.
been disappointed within the game that I've seen so far. I don't think I'm really like disappointed in the sense from what I've seen. I love what I've seen so far, because
No, but any particular thing
I'm
that
going.
that might have.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
well, with what I've seen so far, I think I'm not with me. I'm not going with the mindset of uh comparing it to Metal Gear Solid or anything like that. So I don't want to see it that way. But I would
That's great.
kind of agree with, like, kind of like go along with Johnny, where you know I don't want the wall to be too empty for too long. But I don't. But I think that's one thing that Kojima definitely learned from the Phantom Pain, and he
He even mentioned on it, like, if I'm
exactly. Yeah,
not mistaken, he tweeted about it, some sort of thing.
No, he said
Yeah.
that he doesn't wanna. One of the bad things about Phantom Pain was the world, and then of course how the story was too sporadic and not
Yeah.
too
Okay, yeah.
cohesive. So
Yeah.
and plus I think since it's gonna be Kojima Unleashed, right? I think he's gonna have quite a bit of twists and turns when it comes to gameplay. That we might see some really
Hmm.
huge twists and just turnarounds when it comes to
Right.
gameplay. But yeah, definitely, I think what I will be disappointed if it happens is um one thing that I really want is to have a lot of different kind of weapons in this game. Because
Hmm.
if there are not too many of them, I'll be like, I'll be kind of disappointed because there's the world is so imaginative and it's so unique. I would love to see what his brain can come up with for
Yeah.
weapons.
Right.
So
I have
yeah,
a
The
yeah.
RNG is exciting top
exactly.
for me. Yeah.
hmm So let's see. Yeah, but so far, I don't think I am disappointed as such with what I've seen so far. But yeah, let's see what
I have a
what.
couple of
hmm
so I have a couple of points on this particular thing.
hmm
I would just like to first is like as coming to a point of that what like you meant by the weapons, right? So
hmm
I do believe that there are many weapons in it. That said, I think the main thing about this is the world that we've seen till now is that the death itself is a penalty, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and we've also seen from what we've seen, like from the mules, that they're not trying to kill us. They're just like, you know, like coming behind us just for the packages that we are carrying, right? And they do not, and they wouldn't want to kill us because I may understand this thing that, like, the fact that we've seen that a person can go into the void and that
hmm
death would create a void or something. I don't know anything about it. I'm
Yeah.
just speculating everything. So I think that there won't be that sort of, gun blazing and SMGs and ARs and everything.
hmm
And coming to the second point, what I'd like to say is another thing that Mr. Kojima also said that there are points that there are things and ways we can use the stick part of the game, which is the
hmm
guns. That
hmm
said, he said that he wouldn't want or recommend us to go that way, and there are, certain pathways that we can choose
hmm
that would certainly be enemy or those extraterrestrial PTs free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this game is still not like imposing us to you go the just guns blazing way and everything. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say that you would want to like see more and more varieties of guns and weapons
hmm
and the
hmm
imagination that how we can implement them.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't really have, as I said, they don't have to be stuff like SMGs or something, lethal weapons. I just want to see what he can use as weapons in this because he goes crazy with his
Yeah.
things, right?
It's.
Just look at
Uh,
the.
are you getting at the point with the notion of his innovation with it, where he goes weird with
Basically,
stuff? Is what
yeah,
you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Especially like in what is it,
Uh,
Peace Walker, is where he really
Exactly,
like did some really
exactly.
interesting stuff,
Interesting stuff. Yeah.
and then he just continued it into
hmm
5.
Yeah.
Which
Underrated gem Peace Walker is.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
yes. I just
it's
wish I
Hmm.
could
brilliant,
crawl.
It
brilliant.
is.
That game would have been perfect if you could crawl. That
I
was the
know.
only problem with that game.
Couldn't crawl. Yeah, that's
No
true.
crawl.
Hmm.
But that game was amazing. I love
It
the
was it was
cutscenes, the
beautiful.
artwork by
Yeah.
Shinkawa to tell the whole story was just mind.
Like graphic novel style.
Did
Oh yeah,
Shinkawa
brilliant.
do that, or was that Ashley Wood?
Was it Ashley Wood or was it Shinkawa?
Yeah, I think it was Ashley Wood, the
I
same
think
as
it's Ashley Wood
the
comic
yeah,
books and the
exactly.
digital graphic novels.
Well, that's awesome. Maybe I mixed it up. That's awesome. Well,
Well,
whoever that was, it was
his
brilliant.
style does have a Shinkawa kind of feel to it, and then he
Yeah,
actually twisted his stuff to
kind
kind
of
of
match it.
yeah.
hmm
They geeked
Hmm.
out together.
I
There
can
was like
only
a
imagine.
story
Yeah.
about him like talking to him about like the inside of a mech or one of the Metal Gears, and him
Ooh.
like that does this and
Okay.
that does that, and he's like nodding his head, yes, that's correct. You're good. You're good.
Hmm.
You're good.
That's awesome.
So
I
they
mean,
broed out.
this is what happens when like two like minds
Yeah, exactly.
combine, and that's awesome. Like I want more weird shit like the sea otter hat. You know what I mean? that sea otter hat that he just the weasel hat that he just introduced. He
Yeah,
becomes
more of
Yeah.
that. More of that
yeah,
for
and
sure.
I'm pretty sure that the rubber ducky is gonna play a part in this game. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's gonna
It's
do,
gonna
but
be
that
some
rubber
sort of
ducky, yeah, it's
Okay,
gonna
so
do.
I
Mhm.
hear some new laughter in the chat. I think
I
Anna
know.
just joined us.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi,
I
Anna.
just woke up, so I'm kind of groggy. But
That's okay.
So
Huh?
Anna, we were just talking before we started. Just so introduce yourself and
Oh, yeah.
tell everyone how you met us and what you do in your life.
So, hello, everyone. My name is Anna. Um, I joined the community not long ago. It was by December last year, and I actually wrote Unraveling in Death Stranding. You may know me by that job. And I met everyone here in the chat exactly because of it, because Albert invited me to go on a podcast, the Death Stranding Podcast, with Johnny, I think.
Oh yes.
So I met everyone. So it was awesome. And yeah, I'm a law student in Brazil. So yes, that's my life currently.
That's awesome. Well, we are so happy we made this connection because
Yeah.
your input and your essay and everything is so well done. Like it's so you appreciate this art form so well, and
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always so good to have you on board with this.
Thank you,
Do,
Nav. You are so kind.
do we want to put that
Mhm.
question to Anna?
Yeah, let's.
Yes.
So, Devesh had a question for all of us. So,
Okay.
what he basically asked was one. So far, from what we have seen already, what is the one thing that has disappointed you? And in the coming days or after you start playing, what will be the one thing that will disappoint you if that happens to be in the game? So, if you could give us your thoughts about that.
That's a hard question
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think I have been let down.
Mm.
I think that in the by the time I kind of understand everything Kojima put us, so
Mm-hmm.
not everything is like disappointment or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what could disappoint me because at this point, for everything we've seen,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything it's so awesome and everything has its place when the game wants to be heavy and story driven. It can be when it can be absolutely crazy and lighthearted. Uh, uh, it is. So I don't know. I think that I'm too involved and I'm very biased by now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this game will disappoint me. I think we will have to wait and see. Actually.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Well, that's
I
awesome. Mm-hmm.
I did remember some that I wanted to chip in real quick. I know like one thing
Okay.
scared me is his ladders. Like when he puts those down, there's not really the notion of picking it back up. It's called like what disassemble, and I don't know if that means breakdown or if that means actually to like actually pick up, like collapse
Like
it.
I
retract
think
it
it was
basically.
dismantle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it
So,
was termed as dismantle, if I'm not wrong.
so it like destroys it, you think?
I
I
think it
think
turns back into a luggage.
dismantles from that particular thing. Yeah, yeah.
I think it's gonna
Same.
squeeze it back in so he can put it back on the
Yeah,
back.
because
Yeah.
I hope it does it collapses it again because
Mm-hmm.
they did that
Yeah.
in Survive and it drove me up the wall. So this,
Oh.
because if you're managing resources, you're not going to have it like break down. The thing that,
Yeah.
that scares me about it is there's little hooks underneath the ladder that spring
Mhm.
out
Mm-hmm.
and they like kind of almost like glow red like or that orange or whatever, like the what
Mhm.
is it, the rope and pick in the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if that's why it maybe has to break down, is because it's like, no, you just like fuse that to the ground. You can't not break it down.
Okay.
So, but that scares me. And then the other thing was just the whatever the next part of it, like whatever that after this part of the gameplay where you're the mailman into whatever else, if that's not as interesting as we think it is,
Yeah.
also kind of freaks me out. So may disappoint me, but
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
the two things that you guys help me like pull out of my soul of fears.
That's awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Anna.
One thing that I'm actually afraid of, it's in case the story we've seen turns out to be a huge disappointment.
You have no track record of Kojima, though, Anna.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I trust him, but at the same time, I'm kind of afraid.
Yeah.
I was like,
Mhm.
oh my
Well,
god,
you're
whatever is happening, please be good, please.
the tricky thing is the hype, like
Yeah.
your expectation.
Yeah.
How if it's too big, because I'll do that with like gameplay for his games, and I'm always disappointed. But I'm still happy about what he's given to me. I
Yeah.
I
The
want
name
there.
that has been, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying the name that has been that is associated with this particular project is like, if it comes to this particular industry, is probably the biggest name on an individual basis, with all due respect to other developers as well. So, and the guy has been responsible to invent a certain sort of genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is his mic muted?
Yeah. I
His
think.
chiral network disconnected. The
Yeah.
BT got him.
Guys, I'm back. Really sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
continue,
So
man.
yeah, what I was saying
He
was,
just went to the
yeah,
purgatory.
what I was saying. Okay, yeah. So basically, yes, this is the thing that the people expect so many things from the guy, and it is sort of, it makes sense also to, you know, like expect certain sort of things. And I'm pretty much sure that the way he's been handling all this and the way this game's marketing has been going on, and then we have this World Strand Tour and everything. Even the embargo lifts, the review embargoes lift a week before the launch. So all these things and like, points towards good things gonna happen to this game. And yeah, this makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I see where you get it. Like, of course, like he's an industry veteran, so there is that, trust in Kojima that okay.
Yeah.
And the one thing that he did, apart from he's done a few things, but like after a while that he did that was not Metal Gear was PT, and we all know how that was.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
It was like
exactly.
no cutscenes.
Exactly, and that was
No cutscenes.
there was one
Yeah.
cutscene which scared the shit out of me, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess you could consider that a cutscene. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
But
Uh,
not a typical conversation, hour long Kojima cutscene.
yeah, absolutely. But it's come to think of it, like I never ever imagined Kojima doing horror. Okay, and he did it, and he did it. Like, and my God, he did it.
Yeah.
He just
I have a
pulled it
point.
out of the park, right? So, mhm.
Yeah. I have a point in this thing. The best thing that I connected with Mr. Kojima's quote on this subject matter, that he himself said that he is one of those guys who,
He was really scared.
gets scared really very easily.
Mhm.
And the next thing that he said after this thing was, and if that person is creating the horror who gets scared really easily, has the capability to create a much horrific horror game, in the sense, or a horrific content as compared to the guys who do not get, the scared easily ones. And
Right.
probably speaking, from my experience, I am one of those guys who get scares very easily.
Same here.
And even I am also writing a couple of short stories or like mid-range novels. I would say that I have showed to to some of the people that are near me, and they've like praised it well, that
Mm-hmm.
they like approached me and said that they couldn't think like it is really imaginable like what I just mentioned in this particular story. So
Mm-hmm.
I connected to that part very much, personal,
Yeah.
on a personal basis, that yes, if a guy, or like if any person who gets scared very easily, that person may be like would be in a better position to write
Yeah.
scary novels or scary content, or in a
Right.
very
Mm-hmm.
general basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Oh,
thing
that's true.
was
Mm-hmm.
was with Kojima is he's known to be God in Metal Gear. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like Easter eggs with that notion in it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I was excited for the potential of him being able to be Satan,
Oh yeah.
be the
I
devil
know. I know.
in
Oh
this
my
game,
god, that's awesome.
right?
Yeah. What's the
Right?
devil's name
Hmm.
that is associated with the Silent Hill? With
It's
this.
interesting. I think it's
It's
Incubus.
Abel. Incubus. It is
It's
Incubus.
Incubus, which is
Yes.
Incubus is really close to the notion of a Cupid.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Oh.
a sexual or love,
Mm-hmm.
demon or
Yeah.
divinity, which
Yeah.
that's what Cupid is. And
Yeah.
we have the notion of a Cupid in Death Stranding, which is
That's true.
interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
the idea of that just intrigues me too, is because the notion of what are the arrows that the Cupid uses,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
are the notion of like a love missile or whatever, because he's a
Mm-hmm.
combination of, what is it, the love goddess and the war goddess, god,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-huh.
which is
Very
an
interesting. Yeah.
interesting combination with the notion of that necklace, is what that
Mm-hmm.
really means, or the underlining notion of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
a war love, or a love war kind of a
That's awesome.
concept to it. So
Did any one of you listen to that Maz and Kojima conversation, the interview on PlayStation
The morning
Japan?
one?
Yeah.
Wasn't it all in
Uh-huh, yeah.
Japanese?
Not all of it, but
The maths part was in
Maz
English.
part was in English,
Of,
so
of course, of course.
that's why I had to listen to the
no,
whole thing, and
no,
it
I
was
didn't.
it was interesting. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I like
How spoilerly was it, or was it
no,
just?
I think Kojima said something really spoilery, but I was not really too spoilery. But even the interviewer was like, "Oh, that's kind of spoilery," but it was all in Japanese, so I didn't understand shit. So that was fine
Yeah.
with me. But Mads was like, "Oh, I just would say that Cliff is, he's which I kind of expected him to be, that character to be. Like he said that for ages now, that you cannot point him out as a protagonist or an antagonist.
Yeah, he
He's
said
like
that
he's
before.
like us. So basically, he's both sides of the coin. You see the reasoning behind why he does the other stuff. So
Yeah.
you can't really point him as one in one direction, which is so cool. I might go a little sidetrack on this one, but one of my most favorite films is this Irani film called A Separation. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason I love this film is because every character in this film is is basically like us humans, and like because every person is an antagonist and a protagonist depending
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah.
from where you look at, right? Everyone has their reasons to do something bad, but whatever they do bad is not something that they think is bad. And that movie, it
Yeah.
actually won the best the Oscar for the best foreign film the
Yeah.
year it came out. And that is what I love about that film, and all the characters in that movie. And when Maz says this about his character, that's all I can think of. And I'm like, that was one movie that I really really related to on a deep emotional level too. And I'm like, if it's anything like that, it'll be just fantastic. So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, that's one thing that really stuck out for me through the interview as well.
What I want to say that's really interesting that Matt says this.
Mm-hmm.
And we know so little about Cliff, and
Mm-hmm.
he time and again says that he's not a villain. He's probably has his reasons and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is gonna be a huge thing during the game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if we gonna get this feeling from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of spoilery. if you
Yeah.
think about it, because if you didn't listen to any interviews and nothing at all, you
Mm-hmm.
could perceive him as a villain at first.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, uh,
The thing that's interesting about him is we don't see him actually combating really anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
just
yeah,
see him being, spooky. It's like-
He's being the commander. He's commanding
Yeah.
to go kill. He's commanding the skeletons go kill them, but
Yeah.
he's not doing
He's
anything himself
Yeah,
so far.
more ominous than
Yeah.
anything. It's like
It's the
yes,
best thing that Kojima did. Like he has deliberately, hidden Hicks and Cliff from the people, like the viewers. That we
yeah,
don't
Mhm.
have any anticipation of, we haven't seen anything that they're capable of yet, right?
Yeah.
All they have shown is like Hicks just being goofy on a couple of cutscenes, and Cliff. If I talk about Cliff, majority of his screen time till now has been between him and BB. Like
Yeah.
if we just
Well-
cut out that second trailer where he was shown some sort of an ominous personality, just a normal scientist. Like what we could
Think
speculate about him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and every other scene that
Just
we see him
brilliant.
like from the what is it, the Hell or Hades point of view is like
Mhm.
introduction. It's always like
Being introduced.
On the
He's
gate-
yeah,
Gateway.
he's
Yeah.
always coming out of something, coming from something. It's never like he's in a moment. He's always
Yeah.
being
He's there, yeah, right,
It's
right.
like
we're
it's
moving
like
into
he
that
knows
scene.
that Sam is in Hades now. Time for me to come up.
Yeah,
It's something like
is-
that. Yeah. It's
Which is very interesting.
Yeah. What do you have
Yeah.
to say, Johnny? You're pretty quiet right
Yeah, I'm taking this passing the word to each other pretty seriously for once.
now.
Right.
The fact that we haven't seen any of them is good
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
The mystery. Yeah.
yeah, the mystery just makes it even more savory for us.
Mhm.
I love seeing an open quotes normal Mads. I always forget his name. Cliff.
Cliff. Mhm.
Like he is so human in those trailers,
Yeah.
and
Right.
yeah, so we can sort of take from this that he's a scientist,
Mhm.
and yeah, so something shit hits the fan, and he becomes the demon that he looks like in the other trailers. Whilst for Troy instead, we see him as Higgs,
Mhm.
which has got to do something with, or is a reference to Professor Higgs from the Higgs boson.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we've got
Right.
something going on there, and I'd like to see what's up with him.
Yeah.
Ash,
There's
what
al-
about
God
you?
particle and
go
God
ahead.
particle and yeah, the God part, like if I just spare a couple of minutes on Hicks, because to be very honest, I think Cliff would be the awesomest, like the most awesome guy. But for me, I have seen something in Hicks that I personally haven't seen in any sort of content that I've consumed, be it books, be it movies or TV shows.
Mhm.
His look is so much intriguing and so much like one of the coolest designs I've ever seen. And if I
Yeah.
talk about his name, it is just straight out of it's straight out Higgs, which
Yeah.
would point out to the God particle, which was Higgs boson. This God particle that was discovered in like around 2011 or 2013.
Mhm.
I may
Mhm.
be wrong, but yeah, somewhere around that particular time. So, and we see like his name is like not just basically Higgs for the sake of it. We see him interacting with the nature itself. He says that he has a great connection with the other side, and then we basically see him pointing his finger towards the sky and
Mhm.
bringing the time fall, and he's enjoying the time fall. Like he is like, he seems to be human, purely human, but then he has some sort of portal or gateway to the other side that is like preventing him getting destroyed from all these otherworldly things. So
Mhm.
like it's one of the best things that I've seen in this particular project itself as of now.
Yeah. Me.
So yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Go ahead, Ashler.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to talk about back to that picture that you said that you liked,
Mhm.
and because we were talking about Cliff,
Mhm.
but I also would like to mention something about Higgs too. Let me start
Mhm.
with him because I'm not sure if I've actually mentioned this like on air, but I've mentioned it
Okay.
with you guys off air when we've talked previously. But the notion of the boat that
Yes.
came on for what is it, D-Day? One
Yeah.
of the boats is called a Higgs boat.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Oh.
also nicknamed. It's not spelled the same. It's kind of a little bit different, but it's still there.
Mhm.
There's this little bit similarity to it. It's
Mhm.
the other nicknames is Papa and Peter, and Peter Higgs is the name of the guy that's
who-
that's Higgs
The
boat
scientist.
from. Yeah, the
Mhm.
scientist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Papa, we got Papa
Yeah.
and we got Mama. So
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is really intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Papa to pick up Mama.
Yeah. exactly.
Strands connected, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Strands connected.
even
Mhm.
if it's not used, that's very interesting. But the other thing I was originally want to talk about is the notion
Mhm.
of the crosses on the stomachs, because I did artwork where I had strands coming out of Sam's stomach
Mhm.
on top of also the notion of having it come out of Cliff's stomach. So,
Cliffs, yeah. Mhm.
which is an interesting thought. We haven't seen that. That's not canon, but it's just that notion of like, okay, if he's got it, he should be able to potentially do it. And then what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, how
Because
do they connect? Yeah.
yeah, and if it is it different or is it
Mhm.
similar? Is his strands white instead of black?
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
notion of him being able to actually hijack and control people.
Mhm.
Maybe
I have one thing
that
to say.
board game or
I
whatever
have
with
one
the
thing
action
to say,
figures may be connected
guys.
with that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, this thing just came out of my mind, and
Mhm.
thing is, this game is all about chirality. Okay, so if we talk about chirality, it's some sort of not exactly being opposite, but being similar and yet being opposite, right? So if we just, and I think Ashler did mention this thing that I'm going to say, that Hicks, although seems to be anti to Sam, but he more of seem so no, not Hicks, sorry, Cliff. So
Yeah.
like Cliff seems anti to Sam, but still he's being portrayed a man with connections.
Yeah.
And if I talk about Sam, his name literally has the meaning of getting connected, like Porter and Bridges. Porter is one who travels from one place to another place, and
Mhm.
bridge
Mhm.
obviously means connecting between two, yeah, like cliffs. We
Mhm.
connect two cliffs or two endpoints of a landscape with the bridge.
Right.
So, and
Exactly.
we have known this thing from Mr. Kojima, and what we've known so far from the game, that he has a fear of getting touch, and this is itself being able to be easily interpreted with the briefing trailer, that he doesn't want the world to be connected. He, like Sam, for the initial purposes of what, it
Mhm.
has been cleared that Sam doesn't believe in all this thing. He considers all this thing as jack shit, and he doesn't want the world to be connected. He's a very a pessimistic sort of person that we've seen, who doesn't want to get the connections to be made.
Yeah.
So
Right.
this again, the matter of them being similar and yet opposite to each other, whether it is being the level of the portrayal that they have been, the
Mhm.
level of thing that they have been portrayed, and and everything, their name, their like everything that has been shown to us shows some sort of chirality between these two things. So
Yeah.
this game
Yeah.
is really very deep.
Spot on with the name correlation. I wanted to
Yeah.
just bring
The
that up
cliff
too.
and the bridges. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
brilliant.
that stuff is so fun. The wordplay stuff.
Yeah.
And we
So
know
Mhm.
he always does wordplay, so which is amazing. But okay, let me ask one thing. In the past 1 week, apart from spoilers and everything, what has been
Hmm.
one thing that really made you genuinely smile about Death Stranding? Just reading something that was like, maybe made you really happy and even more excited
I've been
about.
kind of on blackout, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's true. But for me, it was
Okay.
today. It was the video with George Miller. I admire that guy so much, and
Oh yes.
Mad Max Fury Road is one of my all-time favorite action films, and that was
Same here.
and him
Hmm.
praising Kojima with the words that he did. It was just brought such a huge smile on my face. I mean, regardless of what people think and regardless of what the critics think, for him, he actually mentioned George Miller as him considering him as a god, right? Because he
Right.
loved
Right.
his films. So, like, just the fact that the kind of happiness Kojima must have felt by listening to someone who he considers a god, and such praise coming from him, how happy he would have felt about his product, which is amazing. So that really made me smile.
Do you
Senpai
feel?
noticed him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you feel
Oh,
like there's any
exactly.
Yeah.
correlation with the notion
Mhm.
of him calling him God and what? Oh gosh, what is her name? Goddess. Can
Oh,
like Bionic Woman.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I
It's,
can
he
never
calls her
remember
the
her.
goddess,
Lindsay
Lindsay
Wagner.
Leslie Wagner. Thank you.
Hmm. But yeah, could be actually.
Because it'd be interesting if he actually introduced like his
Hmm.
who he actually felt were these things and actually
Hmm.
made them real in Death Stranding or something.
Yeah,
Like
that's and
personified them.
one thing that I was wondering, like, we know for a fact that some huge names when it comes to directors have visited Kojima Productions, and he's friends with some really amazing directors, and I'm pretty sure whenever they visit the studio, he'll be like, "Oh, you want to be in the game?" And he just
Mhm.
scans them, right? I for sure know Edgar Wright is going to be in the game. I for sure know, probably what's his name? The guy who made the movie with Norman Reedus' girlfriend. What's her name? Oh shit, I'm forgetting her name.
Fatik
Fatih
something.
Fatih Akin
But
is the director
Uh-huh.
of the film, and he was in a studio. I'm pretty sure Greg Miller is in the game. J.J. Abrams.
but you know who's not going to be in the game?
Yeah,
Cory Balrog.
yeah.
At least that's what
He
he said.
visited the studio.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, maybe could it be
DLC,
that
man.
every every director that has a cameo maybe gives us something, an object or something that is related to one of their movies, and we get a
Their
power
arts.
similar.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
I hope so.
Yeah,
same here,
so
and I hope it's
Mhm.
actually good R&D like
Yeah,
stuff too, like they did with the otter thing and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
the kazoo or is that harmonica? The harmonica. So
Yeah,
it
harmonica.
actually has really fundamental impact. So
Hmm.
it'll help us like trailblaze
Mhm.
and make
Yeah.
things easier.
You know
Like
what I want to
just
see
bunch of
from
stuff camouflage.
oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
like what I would love to see from Edgar Wright if he appears as a cameo. I want him to give us a bat, a cricket bat. I don't know if you guys have
Okay.
seen the film Shaun of the Dead.
Oh
Of
yeah,
course.
I haven't. I haven't.
Oh,
it
it's a
got red
cricket
on you.
bat. I know. And if he
It got
gives
red
us
on
a,
you. That'd
if
be
he,
awesome.
I know, just killing BTs with a bat. Oh
That
my
would be
god,
fun.
Right, say
that would be
mules,
fun.
beating down mules with a bat.
Yo, shit, that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
I actually thought of something that made me smile.
Mhm.
Tommy tweeted my picture of him. So that
Oh
made me
Oh,
Yeah,
smile.
I saw
yes.
his
Yeah.
story
Oh,
Which
yesterday.
yeah.
he's always like on top of that shit. But
Oh yes, he is.
but
He's
yeah,
such a good sport.
Seriously.
It was so
but
sweet.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's
Hopefully, we'll
a
get him
badass.
on the podcast too. It'll be
Yes, all the podcasts
And he
definitely.
seems like a guy. He'll be down for it. Definitely. Like once
I
the
have
game is
I
released
have a
and
thing.
everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a thing to share.
Yeah.
It's not related to me, but there is obviously guys might be knowing this guy named as German Strands, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's on
Yes.
Twitter. So for some of those who don't know about him, he is a very humble guy and he's a very kind person. I have had a couple of conversations with him on like messages line
Mm-hmm.
and comments. So
Yeah.
this guy today itself messaged that like today or yesterday it was the time when he like tweeted about it that
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation like Germany, I guess he is from Germany. So
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation Germany like literally provided him with a review code, and thing is why he is not some sort of YouTuber or a reviewer even, but
Mm-hmm.
he has been such a a fan servicing guy that
Yeah.
from the very starting till even today he
Mm-hmm.
like tweets about this game and everything,
Yeah.
be it reminders or be it schedules or be it
Mm-hmm.
anything about this game or even any just something some he just create a gif out of it and
Yeah.
he'll just post a message with the game, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
that like my feed is always like refreshed with this guy's you know
Mm-hmm.
tweets about reminding all the people and the fans that this game is coming
Right.
out and everything. So this is a very
What?
appreciation that I would like to go for him. And
Yeah.
so this thing earned him the review code. He's not a reviewer. So just to make it clear, this guy is
We
not a reviewer.
we
This
should do
guy, yeah,
something like that for Albert. And since he's
yeah,
been
Yeah.
so hard at work with that Stranding podcast, he's Like, look at us. Like, we're like, what, 65 episodes in. He's been doing it since the past 3 years. I think we should all like create a tweet on Twitter and probably tag Tommy and just ask him to get him a review copy because he deserves it. He's been,
Really, really, really.
yeah. So yeah, we
Unless
could try
Albert
that.
already has a review copy and has
Ooh.
sent
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say
Right,
it. I was
right.
going to say this thing.
That's why he is so out of
Maybe.
Quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He
That's
wouldn't be able to. Actually, no. He should be able to say something about it because the people
Yeah.
that have gotten him, they've
They
been
are allowed
told.
to. Mhm.
No, they've been told that they have to.
Yeah.
It's
No,
under
it is not the case.
Well,
I'll tell you.
the 3 people that I've talked to, or not
Mhm.
talked to, watched
Yeah.
their podcast. They said that they were specifically told to advertise the fact that they have
They have it. Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
So
Thing is with Robin Gaming, I don't know whether you guys know him or not. He's
Yeah,
a
we
pretty
do.
decent YouTuber.
Mhm.
Robin Gaming tweeted this thing that he hasn't got the the code, and then a day before yesterday, or like a couple of days ago, he tweeted about the fact that he just showed a picture, and it was complete black background with the Death Stranding font, and he transcribed on it a spoiler-free review, and everyone just started commenting like you didn't mention that you had got the game and everything, and like he still hasn't cleared everything about it, but it's the perfect Death Stranding background of black, solid black with
Yeah, I've
those
seen it.
grayish,
He's actually writing
font.
the review now. Kind of like Young,
Yeah,
right?
he's writing the review.
He started
Yeah. So
writing his
Yeah.
review as well.
So,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
I
maybe
was
there's
just gonna
not
have to
that
create
much.
a
Mhm.
huge list of links of videos that I'm gonna have to watch later.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Initially, I'm just gonna check a couple of scores. I'm not even gonna read any of the reviews. I'm just gonna check the scores. I'm gonna open critic. Like, okay, this is good. Let's get back to doing.
You're gonna have to listen to Young.
No, I'm not gonna listen
No,
to him.
no, no.
I'm planning to.
I'm not, because
He
somehow
spoils stuff. He
Yeah,
spoils
exactly.
stuff.
He spoils
I've
it.
watched his
Oh.
Metal Gears and
Yeah.
some of his other reviews on stuff. He gets into it.
Yeah, that's why I'm just gonna I'm not even gonna listen to or watch his video at all. I'm just gonna look a couple of outlets and see what they gave the game, and I'm good to go. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll save it.
Mhm.
I think we should, at least for the first playthrough, we should
Mhm.
all avoid other people's opinions
Mhm.
on what's their favorite character or
Yeah.
their favorite area or everything else, because we can be influenced by it. I remember that
Always. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
One
Yeah.
thing that I remembered and I regretted is that I started playing Detroit Become Human, and at the same time I was watching gameplay. So when the person who was playing was liking a lot of character that I initially hated,
Mhm.
so I think my outcome would be totally different if I just had played by myself.
Right.
Right.
So this time I was like, okay, I just want to sit down and with my PS4, and that's it. I don't want to
Yeah.
listen to anyone.
Yeah.
I
But-
just want to finish the game and
With
have
that
my own
game, it's
expression.
been insane. Like, I talked to like 3 different people, and like none of us knew that we were actually playing that game. And then I tell him my ending. It's like, what? That can happen? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that happened. It's like,
If
what
I'm
did
not
you do? And
mistaken,
it's like,
if I'm not
What's
mistaken,
going on?
there's about 70 different endings.
And there is, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's how usually Contact Dream games go. Like, that's insane. Like, cause he was playing it for the first time. I knew there will be like multiple endings, right? And when I told him what my ending was, he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's
My
so
ending
cool."
was so bad.
Was
I don't
that
know.
free for
Mhm.
PlayStation Plus recently for people?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Okay, I wasn't
Has
sure if it
everyone played it?
July.
covered all the countries and stuff like that, or if it was
No,
just.
no. I think it was free for everyone. But has
Yeah.
everyone played it here or no?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't
I
played
have.
it yet.
I have.
Oh, you haven't? Ashler
No.
has. Oh, so Ashler is the only one who hasn't. So you don't want to spoil anything for him.
God damn it, Ashler.
Well, we
I'm
could
sorry.
spoil something for you, but you don't know if you're going to get that ending. So.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be like a mixed bag. I still need to play the what is it? The one before that.
Beyond Two Souls.
Heavy
Yeah.
Rain.
Heavy Rain.
Played
No, it
Heavy
was-
Rain.
No, Beyond Two Souls. I think that's
It's
the second.
Beyond Two Souls. Yeah,
Mhm.
was the one. I
It's the
played
same creators, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
yep.
Quantum.
So yeah,
Mhm.
Beyond Two Souls was the most recent one
Yeah,
with Willem Dafoe,
yeah. And what's her name?
Ellen Page,
Ellen Page. Yeah,
that. I
which
have
is
that.
not the girl from The Last of Us.
No.
Ellie.
I don't
She
I don't
She has made it
understand.
clear.
I don't understand that confusion. It's like
Yeah.
I can see like there's like tomboy like correlation, but they don't
Mhm.
look anything alike. It's
Like-
A little.
no.
Nah.
Her face is like the jawline and stuff.
Yes,
I don't want to have to
Mhm.
get all artsy about it, but it's
Yeah.
totally different. I like the actress's face more than I do the Last of Us chicks.
Hmm.
So,
Ellie's. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
makes
Ellie's.
sense.
she
Awesome.
it's a dynamic jaw is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
She has a dynamic jaw, which
Definitely different. Yeah, that's awesome. So we are almost. Yeah, we crossed the 1 hour mark, which is pretty good.
Yes, we
Okay,
want to
great.
talk about
Mhm.
what we've been doing on Reddit lately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
Hmm.
Give a like shout out to people to do the photo stuff mainly.
Yeah, so we've been posting daily with the caption "Countdown to Death Stranding."
Mm-hmm.
We've been going around in circles. We've all been posting every couple of days different challenges and different discussion questions every day. For example, today we posted a proverb. You have to make your own proverb using Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had come up with was what was it? Well, we had a crypto bite a day keeps the time fall away,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to read it because I can't remember. I'd come up with a couple.
Yeah. They were pretty good. Some of them were really good actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep your strands close and your BTs closer. Anyway, just silly things like this. But
Yeah.
the big thing we're doing, which I posted as Johnny on the Reddit subreddit,
Mm-hmm.
I posted a call to action to all the Death Stranding fans. We are making a collage, which is going to be either of Kojima or of Ludens. We'll put up a poll on the last days, and we want all your profile pictures or a picture that represents you. And we're going to do. We're going to assemble all these photos in a mosaic, and we're going to. How can I say? We can overlay it with Kojima's image. And what we want to do is send this picture to Kojima Productions. So if you want to join, you can email me at collage Kojima at gmail.com. And you will find the email below, I suppose, if you're watching this on YouTube.
They
And
put in description, yeah.
yeah, so please send pictures of yourself so we can send this to Kojima. It will be something nice to thank him and the production team for all the work they've done in these years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to the thing with the today's topic about proverbs. I think the most liked one is "float like a void out, sting like a BT."
Yes.
It's so it's so good. Everyone's I love that one. But yeah, it's been really good like the past few days, and we've gotten some really good responses on some of the topics, and
Yeah.
it's been fun.
I've been
a lot of
bad
fun. Mhm.
at doing any of that. I did that one, and then I was like burnt out with art and everything. So it's like,
Well,
yeah.
you're doing the Inktober part anyway, so you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's
Uh.
that's what my contributing factor.
Yeah.
I'm drawn.
But that's awesome.
But yeah, good job with that, guys. That's really cool that
I know.
that you did that. and still
been
are
fun.
doing it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it till the very end.
Yeah, to the very
We
end.
ain't quitting. Yeah. But anyway, guys, what else? What else have you been guys up to trying to keep the time going by faster till
I've
you
been
reach that stranding?
playing Spider-Man myself.
Oh yeah,
Other people been doing something else?
I've been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
The third entry.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing that one.
Yeah, I haven't played that one yet.
Yeah, Devesh, you were saying something?
Yeah. So I just recently, like today itself, I got got to upload my preload. Like I got to preload my this Modern Warfare copy that I pre-ordered,
Mm-hmm.
and just to make this thing out, like I have been a a die-hard Call of Duty fan from the very startings, and played almost everything, every game. And that said, I was disappointed. Like this gen especially, for me, this gen was the lowest the Call of Duty could get, and with an exception of like Black Ops 3, it was a great game. But that being said, Modern Warfare, the this remade thing out of the particular franchise, this game looks, sounds, plays literally next gen as compared to this gen what we've seen and played till now. I would recommend you guys, if you like this sort of games and like even the single player or the multiplayer campaign, just make sure that you try this game out. This game is really on the very next epitome level of this Call of Duty franchise. So
Yeah,
I've been enjoying this game.
and it's getting good reviews too. To be honest, I didn't expect it to
Right.
get like in the 80s, so
Yes.
that was something surprising.
This
Anna?
game looks next gen, literally on the like if I talk about this from the standards of what Call of Duty has been showing us
Well,
this very
it was
current
about
generation.
time. It was about time they upped their game. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's the end of the cycle. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
you have
Yeah.
to.
This
But
game is pretty much amazing. Yeah. The
that's
gunplay
cool.
especially, the sounds, the feel of the gun.
That's awesome.
Look really great.
What about Anna?
I've been playing God of War.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Boy,
Still need to finish that.
Boy.
boy,
So,
come here.
I'm
boy.
loving it.
Are you playing it again, or have you?
No, I actually have watched a gameplay before, so I know the ending, so I know everything that's gonna happen.
Oh my
But
god.
either way, I'm so in love with the game, with the world, and I feel like I kind of forget that I know what's gonna happen. So
That's
I'm
cool.
so
That's a good
immersed.
sign.
So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
so good, and I'm having so much fun playing.
Have you played any of the previous ones?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Oh my god.
Anna, you seem to have a track record of not playing previous games.
Jumping right into the fourth game.
Yeah,
It costs too much.
Yeah.
I actually start playing games for real just in
Mhm.
2016.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
down the rabbit hole you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
was when I bought my PS4.
Do
So
you
Yeah.
do you get PSN cells, like the flash sales in Brazil? Is that am I
Yeah,
saying that right?
yeah, like
What?
the discounts. Do you get like the flash sales basically that happen
Oh
on
yeah,
PlayStation
they
Network?
Okay,
Yeah.
because
happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I was in your predicament, that's all I would be buying is those
Yeah.
$2, $4, like
Yeah.
here, which is like 4 times as much where you're at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But to
Yeah,
cover
but
everything that you've missed, at the end you'll be like, I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
Right. Well,
Just to cover.
hopefully with the backwards compatibility kind of stuff with
Yeah,
5 when that
it's gonna
comes
be
out,
fun.
that may be able to make a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff easier to
Yeah.
get your hands
Yeah,
on.
I played The Last of Us just this year.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Hmm.
That's awesome though. With the God of War, that one moment, I was crying tears of happiness when he has
That
everyone
game for me is
has everyone played it?
No, I
yeah.
haven't I've not
Oh,
finished.
oh my
Oh.
god. Oh my god, Ashler, what are you doing?
I have too
Yes,
many
Moshe.
games. I have to work.
One of the best games ever made, actually. That
So
game is like really on the
if
next
you need
level.
me to like hop off for a minute, I
No,
can
no,
do
no, no,
that.
no. It's okay. Don't worry. We don't cut off the strands in this one. You're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll discuss it once you've finished it.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
I was like, that's
But
awesome though. But yeah, that
uh,
this is one more thing that I wanted to say for the listeners, that this podcast is not specifically gonna be about Death Stranding. It's gonna be about everything. Like, we
Yeah.
know for a fact that every one of us has this thing where we go way off topic, and which
Yeah.
is fine. Like, it's fine. This
Well,
Strand podcast is not like gonna limit us just to
Yeah.
Death Stranding. So we can
it's
talk
in the
about
name.
exactly,
It's connections to
basically.
everything.
Mhm.
Basically, it goes anywhere. It's fractal.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So just feel free to talk about whatever you feel like, and maybe connect it somehow.
Yeah.
Death Stranding as
But
well. too.
definitely need to do I guess a pin in a podcast where we're diving into God of War for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
that would
Absolutely.
be fun to do a spoiler cast for a lot
We
of
can
things.
revisit games and everything, we can revisit games, media, and
Yeah,
whatever we liked
Yep,
and whatever
yep.
for
the twist
sure.
is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, like, I mean, personally, I think when coming back to Death Stranding, there's one more thing that really excites me. Is like, of course, we know Silent Hills got cancelled, right? And one of the biggest things within that game was the use of fog. And when
Uh-huh.
they showcased Decima, right? When they were showcasing the whole engine, the one thing that they really, really focused on was fog, and the use of fog and the lighting through the fog that this engine is able to pull off. And just the thought that maybe in the nighttime, we have kind of seen it in one of the trailers where Sam gets caught, but I think it's the
E3 2018 trailer.
no,
E3
and not just
2018, yeah.
that, the
In
release
the
date
woods,
trailer as well. Yes.
or when he's like just crouched and he has nothing in his bag, when he's wearing the what is it, suit?
Yeah, that is the E3 2018 trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
too, and also the release trailer, right? In the woods where he gets caught, you can
Yeah.
see the use of the fog.
Fog,
Yeah.
fog
And
is
I
there,
can
right?
just imagine if nighttime kicks in that lonely
Eeriness.
world, the eeriness of just that fog being everywhere, and out of
Right.
nowhere. Yeah, what's the name for the detection device? It has a name. Kojima mentioned.
Audra deck, I guess Audra deck.
But that's like the technical term. But there's one more.
Patapat, or
Yes,
something like
yeah,
that.
Pada
something.
pada.
Yeah,
Odra
Patapat.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Odra deck.
The Odretic or the
basically.
Patapat. Yeah.
Pata, yeah. So, and out of nowhere,
Okay.
that starts to go off, and within that whole
Mhm.
foggy environment, you see these things pop up. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Did you
So-
guys notice like Sam's
Mhm.
bag is like leaking off little like golden flakes when he's doing in that scene? It's like blowing off his his luggage. Like it's
really?
either decaying
Did I
or it's
watch
almost
so?
showing wind direction.
Ooh, interesting. I
Damn.
never noticed that.
Yeah, it's I've done a lot of like what is it, researching on a lot of the videos and stuff like that, but I haven't like gotten around to actually do anything with it. So it's like
Ooh.
this is where I'm like happy about like doing this kind of stuff where I can just hey, this is something
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, and
I don't want to write
that
a big long
kind of
post about it.
that connects
go
to that corpse, right? Like gold, right? That's something that's definitely playing a big part. And
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of
There's a
that when
mystery in this game.
the mask like
yeah,
decays when
it
he's like
decays and
shaking
goes
his.
off.
Yeah, it's similar to that a little
And
bit.
one of the elements that we can farm or get is golden crystals and gold, right? Maybe at that point of time, Sam has gold
Well-
in his backpack.
Well, have we actually seen gold, or is it just chiralium or chiral?
Chiral
stuff?
crystals.
I think chiral
Chiral
crystals,
crystals.
they are golden color though, but I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah.
they would be gold because we one of the one of the things that we get by pre-ordering is the gold suit, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure we create that
Uh-huh.
suit by getting the gold as the element, right? And
I don't know. I get a feeling that it's easier to market as gold than Chiralium.
yes, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's easy to say that for
it's gonna
sure.
say, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
Chiralium," and no one knows what the hell
Yeah.
is this.
Do you guys know the
Mhm.
canister that's on Sam's backpack?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I've been trying to figure out like what that is
What that
exactly
is,
is
yeah.
for, And one of the things is that I suggested is that he's putting chiralium into that thing to make his backpack weigh less. So it's actually offset on that back end. The thing is it also looks like it may also be a battery for the hoverboards to a certain degree, because when he plugs it in or
It's
hooks
similar
it
in the
up to the
back,
thing,
yeah.
it glows.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's like
What
some
I-
kind of a connection to that thing and the hovercraft.
Possible.
I thought it was like those.
Balancing thing?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I was going to say
yeah.
that. Like the bubble.
The
that
bubble,
he-
Yeah. I thought that too at one point, but I could, even if it was a bubble thing, you could have the black, like, antimatter chiralium stuff in there where it's not crystallized, and it could still maybe provide the hover effect.
Antimatter, like anti-gravity.
Gravity,
That's awesome.
weird
There's
thing.
so much that could be done. Like even with the gameplay video, you saw that when he attaches those little trinkets, right?
Yeah.
When he opens the menu for the trinkets, it's a huge list. We only see 2,
Yeah, right.
and every trinket like kind of affects the gameplay in some way, right?
We were talking about this a little bit, like on
Yeah.
the what is it? The
gameplay one, right? The gameplay podcast, right? That we did. Where we discussed the TGS gameplay.
I think so, but I think we were talking about it via texting a little bit about like there being multiple points on it, and I was only seeing 2 attach points, and
Yeah.
someone
I
was
was saying
it
3.
Yeah.
So, and
Yes, I haven't looked at that again. It's actually 2, so you were
2?
right.
Yeah.
And the third thing was that bubble canister.
Bubble thing, canister. Yeah. The thing that makes me feel like it's not just a like balancing thing is it's just because it glows. Right when I saw that it glowed when you hook it up the carriage thing or the hoverboard, it was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen what people that carry big bags, what they do when they stop? Have you ever seen pictures of like I'm trying to think what you would call them. I think they're referred to maybe as porters technically, but they
Mules.
like Sherpas or mules kind of a thing. But they have a walking cane, but they take that cane and put it behind their bag and then sit on it as a pole. And originally that's what I thought it was. Is it like maybe folded down and then like did some support? But that's why the anti-gravity thing makes more sense within the context of the world. If you have anti-gravity, why not use it to make your shit way less?
That's like how Pavarotti used to go around Italy.
Really?
He literally had a person taking a little stool around, and he'd walk a bit, and the guy would throw the stool behind him, and he'd sit down.
That's amazing.
No, but yeah, there's so much to think about, and this is what excites me the most. Just finally playing the game and exploring all of this, right? And just that'll be Oh, he has also put in this thing in there. Oh, so this is what this trinket does, and it's just finding out all of those and just the Easter eggs and everything, just the little details, right, within the Kojima game as well.
And the best part, guys, is we're gonna play together.
Right?
I know.
That is gonna be crazy. The thing is man, because I could see us potentially at some point in the progression of the game, maybe not earlier on, but us doing like parties.
Yeah,
like playing the game and trying to do the same mission together, literally, so we can actually maybe have like situations where we're in the same springs and stuff like that, and maybe we get benefits for doing that stuff.
Yeah, we
like
pee together.
We're friends with benefits, guys.
Yeah, basically.
I hope it actually literally does that though, like where we're purposely I'm gonna walk on your ladder like 12 times to rank it up or whatever.
And we'll have some hot spring parties.
Yeah.
Chilling in the pool, singing some ba-bum bum. That'll be awesome.
I hope there's more songs we can do. I assume that's going to be like Rockabye Baby and other like country versions of that. Do you guys have your own country versions of that?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Absolutely.
Is it as unique as the Japanese ones?
Oh,
or is it just
No, there are a few, and there are like a lot of different melodies too. So That'll be fun.
Cool. That would,
Yeah.
Kojima needs to get on that. If
I know.
they're not in there, you need to like start sending them to him.
I know.
Add
But-
this to the game.
I want some Urdu lullabies
Right.
in there. Yeah. That's so cool. I mean, yeah, it's just insane. Like, okay, that also brings me to this thing that I've always thought about, like, with the ladders and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we get to pick the other person's ladder? Do we get to keep it, or
Yeah, that I had that question too. I think
That
we
goes
can
back
just
to what we
remove
were
it.
saying
Maybe.
before with the dismantling.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because that's when that popped up, that dismantling thing, it was someone else's ladder. I have not seen the notion of dismantle necessarily
Mhm,
yet, I don't
mhm.
think, on your own stuff. Like when you got near it, it was someone
Yeah.
else's thing. It said dismantle.
But
So-
that kind of gets
Okay.
weird, right? If someone put a ladder in a very, very important place, and this one guy comes and like, oh fuck it, I'm taking it. It's like,
I think
oh.
I have a point here. I
Mhm.
think what's gonna happen is, so let's say Johnny puts a ladder on an XYZ coordinate, right?
Mhm,
So let's say a couple of us guys in our own game world come
Mhm.
and dismantle it. I
mhm.
think that won't be because the creator of that particular ladder was Johnny. So I guess that would be preserved. It may be like it could be that yes, you move the ladder from one place to other place in your own world.
Oh,
that
for
wouldn't
it just
affect the
change it
other
in
person's
your
world.
okay.
yeah, that's
Right,
been
this Could
confirmed.
be the thing.
That's confirmed, yeah.
That's confirmed by Hideo already.
That's awesome.
Is it
man.
confirmed?
Yeah, he said that if
Oh, okay.
if you remove it from your world, it's just gone in your world, and it'll be able to be a persistent
Oh.
thing in other people's.
Then
Has
it
a
works.
chance.
Then it works.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
that's perfect.
Then it's okay. Okay.
So
But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see the extent of the building. I just want to build more than just a base, and
yeah,
you can mhm.
because a lot of the stuff that they've done is just like it's a platform that disguises a underground thing, which will
Yeah.
have probably a loading screen to a certain degree or something
Mhm.
close to it. Maybe that's where he's doing kind of with the notion of the BB
Mhm.
moments.
Yeah.
the
Go up the
flashbacks.
elevator is with the cliff scenes.
Yeah.
Or is
Mhm.
to hide a loading screen.
It's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
well-known fact that video games hide loading screens in elevators.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. But yeah. But and even the pods,
And
what are they called? The
BB pods.
mhm.
no, not those pods. It's the I can't remember if they've got a name for them. But the
The still mother one.
no, the large buildings that the preppers are in, the
Ah,
prepper
okay.
buildings. Because
Oh,
that also
Mhm.
seems like it's an asset that is supposed to hide the notion of something larger. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
And that this
Hmm.
is the stuff,
know.
this notion of that which scares me about that stuff. Is it
Yeah.
he
I
seems
think
to
it's gonna be similar. It's
trying
not
to
gonna be
keep
too
it
different.
minimalist.
Yeah. Every safe room, everything is gonna be very similar. Because to be honest, like if he went to that level where you can also design your whole safe room, I don't think that's will be just too much for a game like Death Stranding, which is already doing so much with long
Yeah.
cutscenes and everything. You can't have all of that. Then you kind of become like Fallout, where you just don't care about the graphics and you just build whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but talking about the elevators, games with loading scenes on elevators, Johnny, some games also have riddles within the elevator,
Hmm.
and they kill you if you don't solve them. Do you get where I'm going with this one?
No.
Silent Hill.
Ah.
That was one of my most favorite puzzles in any game ever. Have you guys played Silent Hill 2?
I
Is-
haven't. I'm planning to
I-
see it.
I had it, but I
Okay.
think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Is it the
it's
one
not
that
gonna
kinda-
be a spoiler.
Does it
Mhm.
kind of mirror the Metal Gear elevator kind of weird thing a little bit in a weird way?
A little bit, but yeah, it's basically you're in this area and you find out different information about a few people, right? And I think that area, if I remember correctly, I think it's a school. Okay, and then you read a bunch of different documents, and then you finally get to open an elevator by solving a few puzzles. Then you get in the elevator, and all of a sudden this guy starts to play a game with you, and there are 3 boxes in front of you, and he's like asking questions.
Okay.
Oh, so you have
Okay.
to answer the right way. If you don't answer the right way, something's gonna
Yeah,
happen. You have to
different
choose.
puzzle that I'm thinking of. That's cool though.
But yeah, it's like a basically he wants to be dead, not a millionaire. Basically, you have three options. He gives you options, and then you have to select the right answer. If you don't get the right answer, you
That's
die.
cool.
So it's such a brilliant puzzle within that game. So, but yeah, that's one game I'd highly suggest you guys you play. It's my favorite horror game of all time. So
Do they have all those like updated and collected for like PlayStation 4, or do you have to go to like PlayStation
I think
3?
it's for PlayStation 3. There's the
3.
collector's edition,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
sadly,
which I
Maybe-
have and I've never played.
maybe
Oh,
wait till 5, PlayStation
That-
5 to do
that's
that.
something you could do, Johnny, before the release of Death Stranding, just to feel the vibe of how Silent Hill is. I think the best
Yeah.
game out of the lot is definitely Silent Hill 2.
So
the-
I have the PlayStation 1 version of Silent Hill, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. And-
That's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
so I think I actually have the PlayStation 1 at work, so I could actually play that next week.
Yeah. The-
That's awesome.
The main one that I want to try kind of playing again, because I played it like with a friend. I didn't
The
actually play
Room?
it. Just The Room.
That
Yeah.
was brilliant.
Oh, that
It was
The-
kind of like, you know how Resident Evil took a risk with Resident Evil 4. They added something that they've never done.
mhm.
And this
Yeah.
was the case with Silent Hill.
Well, it felt like PT.
It did. It
It's
did.
just,
Like,
it's like in the same universe almost. It's weird,
I know. And when you, like, every time I had to go look out of the peephole,
right?
it was so, like,
Hmm.
it was anxiety. I was like, what the hell is going to happen next? Who the hell am I going to see outside the door? Right? It's
Right.
just that feeling. And the
Well-
whole room changes little by little throughout the
little,
whole
yeah.
story. And
Yeah.
it's scary. It's so scary. And it's like, I remember one time I was just looking outside the window and there's a huge ass hot air balloon of the rabbit. I'm like, what the fuck is this thing doing here? And it's
What?
yeah, the
Mhm.
rabbit that appears in the whole game. There was a hot air balloon right outside my window. I'm like, what is this? Like
That's cool.
like creeped me
Yeah.
the fuck out. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
need
moments
to-
like those,
That
really-
one intrigues me for sure.
you should definitely play it. You'll
Yeah,
like,
it'll definitely happen. I feel like there's some of these games that just they get so prolific that you have
Mhm.
to do it eventually.
yeah, it's like play anything before Silent Hill 4, right? Like including Silent Hill 4, because after Silent Hill 4, the production was given from Team Silent in Japan and given it to Americans. And we know what Americans do with Japanese horror films, right? And that's exactly what
Whitewash
they did.
them.
Oh, just killed it. Like they don't know. Let the pros
Well,
do what they do
it's
best.
what is it? They Americanize horror. They
Oh, it was just bad. I mean, they
Yeah.
killed the whole vibe of it, right?
because a
And-
lot of Japanese horror is based off of mythology
Mm-hmm.
and
And it's
Hmm.
creepy AF.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they lose that part.
Exactly.
It's no longer mythical, and
No, it's not.
it becomes a slasher and it becomes stupid.
Basically, yeah.
Hmm.
They stupidified it. So
Yeah.
if, but yeah, like my favorite ones are just the ones made by Team Silent, which is amazing. And I heard that few of the members that were in Team Silent are actually in Kojima
Mhm.
Productions right now.
No way.
Right. Is
Yeah.
it so?
Yeah, I've heard.
Oh,
so
that's
that'll be
so
so
cool.
cool because that team they knew how to scare the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and
that
yeah, go
that
ahead.
doesn't necessarily mean too much. If it was like
Yeah,
the
but-
artists and
yeah.
the writers, then I'd
But
be
if
like,
it's still
oh,
cool,
oh,
though.
oh shit.
Mhm.
But still, that's very
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
Because
and
I know for the fact that
It-
Kojima, like pulled the main people, the key people from his previous company to the new studio. That is what I'm aware of. At
Yeah.
least.
absolutely. I just I hope someday I wish to see this collaboration between Akira Yamaoka and Hideo Kojima. Akira Yamaoka is the guy who's done the music for all the Silent Hills. Like not all, but the best
Oh.
ones. And I think one of
Okay.
the best parts about the Silent Hill games is the music. It's beautiful. It's one of the best music music's ever given for any game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that just it just enhances the whole, like, you've played The Last of Us, right? The how the
Right,
music
right.
is such a huge part within the game, right? And it's kind of like that. It sets up the tone for the whole world of Silent Hill. Right? So yeah, I
Mm.
really hope one day these guys get to collaborate. They're like huge names.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully the his notion of like the connection kind of a thing or a Strand game kind of will lead
Yeah.
into that notion of like let's do what we've been doing with video games, how we've
Hmm.
been taking parts of games and putting them together to make a bigger game or the
Hmm.
notion of a new genre.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Hmm.
do that outside that. Let's just take our teams and our people and our
Yeah.
that way and make that
Hmm.
the way that we're connecting.
Like, there was one more thing that I was imagining. Like, it's for like we know that Stranding is gonna do good sales wise, and if it does really good, and Kojima makes money, and imagine what could be in store for us with that Stranding too. He'll be like, "Oh, I had Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen for this one. Well, let's get Ryan Gosling on board for the next
I
one."
literally want Ryan Gosling because that guy,
Yeah,
seriously, this guy can do anything
yeah, he's
as
a
far
very,
as
very good
he's
actor.
proved
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know. So I think that's another thing that kind of like, makes me excited for the future. That if this thing really does well, then we can see some more really big connections
Mm-hmm.
being made. But yeah, awesome. Well, I think we've been talking for like 1.5 hours now, which
Yeah.
is really, really good for the,
Great.
and that's the thing about it, right? Even after the official Death Stranding podcast, he just talked for 2-3 hours nonstop, and
Right.
it's insane. Like, we
Yeah.
can talk forever,
I wish my recordings actually worked and they did not. So
but well,
Yeah.
let's see. But this was great. But Johnny, do you want to add something?
Well, we've gone on for quite a while. I've enjoyed it, and it's something new. We're missing Albert's soothing voice. We're missing
Absolutely.
Danny,
Mm-hmm.
which was
Mhm.
entertaining guests today.
Yeah.
And I'd like to give a shout out to the French Stranding community.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make connections between
Absolutely.
strands.
all
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, so I actually brushed up my French this week by listening to their podcast, and
Okay.
they've got some
cool.
pretty good points going on.
That's
So
awesome.
maybe we
Mhm.
can interact with them in the next episodes too.
Absolutely. We got the German strands, we got the French stranding. I
Yeah.
have a few. I'm also on a group on Facebook with a few people who are very, very passionate about this title as well, and so I would, maybe invite
Mhm.
them on a few
Yeah.
podcasts as well, and just grow the connections more. But
Yeah.
absolutely,
They've
shout
been amazing. They've been
Mhm.
all retweeting some of my art too. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
very cool people.
As I said,
Who is not retweeting your art, Ash?
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
You're
Who
popular.
isn't? Who isn't doing?
But this is so cool, and even shout out to the actors as well, like Tommy and Darren.
Right.
Yeah, these guys have been such good sports, and just so interacting with the community, which is such a good thing to see. Not a lot of people do that, right? And
Right.
Yeah.
this is so good. But yeah,
Very humbling.
absolutely. Any thoughts you guys have for this podcast and what you know are thinking about bringing to the table for this podcast as well? So go ahead, Anna. Let's kick it off with you. Any closing comments for this podcast?
I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a little different.
Mhm.
And I think we can expand on our knowledge. Yeah, basically, I think it's gonna be fun, right? I think we come together again more
Mhm.
frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it.
That's good. What about you, Ashler?
Yeah, just the notion of like strands, just connecting us to different people and different subject matters excites me. I don't
Mhm.
know how long this will piggyback off of Death Stranding.
Mhm.
but I think that's a good core for us to
Mhm.
go off of, and if there's a second one or something else that Kojima does, I'm sure that we'll get into that as well. So
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I want to point out how he's connected people all around the world. Just
Mhm.
at the moment, we're speaking in 5 people, and we're 5 people from 5 different countries.
Yeah,
right,
that's true.
Mhm. Yep.
So this is the
Right.
power of this game.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Talk about
Mhm.
connections. So we know one thing for sure. If there's a puzzle like PT with 5 different languages, and if they're in Italian, English, Hindi, Urdu, and Portuguese, we are solving the shit out of the puzzle.
Yes.
Oh
We're
yes.
we're winning.
It's
We're
gonna be
winning.
something.
Right.
I hope so. I pray that that's
I
gonna be a
know,
thing.
I know. That'll be so awesome. It's like, that's Urdu. I got this one. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I got the Portuguese part with it. Yeah, that'll be awesome. But yeah, Devesh, yeah, closing comments.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty much optimistic about this thing, and the best thing about this is, and this has been proven, like since past couple of podcasts or last 3 podcasts, that we just do not, we cannot like dive onto very limitations. So what I mean by it, that oftentimes when we have like stopped the recording of the previous podcast, we just went in for hours and hours and hours without even thinking about what we have to say, and the topic just came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this connection itself is a very great thing. And what I'm like looking forward to with this podcast is like, because all of us like at least know one thing for the fact that each and every one of us is having a different perception of the arts that we enjoy, and different
Mm-hmm.
art forms and everything. So let's just, and obviously you've also already made it clear that we just need not to make it, you know centric to a particular thing or a few things. We can
Mm-hmm.
like sway left or right or up and down or in any directions. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that I'm pretty much sure about is that although we'll go from to whatever place we can, Death Stranding is obviously gonna come in between, and it will be a to and fro movement for Death Stranding as well. So it will be like many months to come that we'll still be discussing about Death Stranding, and like many things to come. Right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
The hub world of the podcast.
Uh-huh.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, for like, I would also resonate with everything you guys said, right? It's I know for a fact that, as Devesh said, it's gonna come back to that trending. And the thing is, like, even though the game is releasing in a few days, I'm pretty sure there'll be enough for us to keep talking about it until
Right.
the
Right.
Stranding 2
Oh
comes
yeah.
out. And there are so many other great
It's
games coming
it,
in, right?
it's gonna be one of those games that
Mm-hmm.
when it comes out, there will
Mm-hmm.
be so much mystery
Yeah.
surrounding it anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I've been talking to people that,
Yeah.
oh, you think we figure out
Mm-hmm.
basically most of what Kojima wanted us to figure out until now,
Mm-hmm.
but more things are gonna come off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, it's cool to figure out
Mm-hmm.
basically what's going on
Mm-hmm.
until now, but I think that Kojima has probably thrown some curveballs and everything's may change.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna be talking about that training for at least another year.
Absolutely.
There
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
so
For
All the
sure.
Right.
For
much
sure.
content.
finding
Yeah.
all these Easter eggs within the game, and just
Yeah.
Yeah.
discussing all of that. And even today, in the video with George Miller, he said some that people are not gonna get it because it's so radical. But
Yeah.
again, I was talking to one of my friends who's not a huge gamer, but I like kind of like made him play a few of the Metal Gear Solids, and he absolutely loved what Kojima was doing. And I was like, he hasn't played few of the earlier entries, and I sent him this video today about Colonel Campbell, like when he in MGS2, when they talk about the digitizing of data and how everything is, how they're
Hmm.
trying to control and everything. I'm like, see, this came out in 2001, and it's
Right.
more
Yeah.
relevant than ever right now.
Well.
So that's
Right.
the
Right.
beauty of Kojima's work. Like, even he is saying that right now, some people might not get it, but later
Yeah.
in the years, you will understand the importance of this game and the importance of connections. And
I
yeah.
Yeah, I have one thing to add to this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so thing is that like either like five of us, or take the subreddit community, or like any person who's like associated or passionate about this project in some
Mm-hmm.
or the other context, we've already, and we know, like literally, we hardly know the surface of this game. Literally, we don't know jack shit about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, we've already been have able to turn our minds to this much of like output, that we have come up with so many artistic impressions. We have come up with so many legitimate scientific as well as artistic and many
Mm-hmm.
perceptions and theories about this game. So just imagine this, and it's a very huge and very vast, very deep game on a very
Mm-hmm.
meta level, on a very artistic level, and on a very, be it a video game or be it, like as an art. I think that this game is gonna make give rise to many conversations
Mm-hmm.
when all of us literally know everything about this game, or
Yeah.
hopefully maximum amount of things about this game. Just imagine what sort of things that would come out of in the terms of discussions and whatnot.
A
So
lot of
just trying
controversies
to
too.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Ashler.
yeah. It just going off, we were talking about Metal Gear Solid 2.
Mm-hmm.
As one of the things that I noticed just recently that blew my mind
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that if you look at the codec
Mm-hmm.
from the tanker to doing with Raiden,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a different waveform, like the look of it, and
Yeah.
it actually looks like a gun being
Mm-hmm.
pointed to Raiden's head.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That was.
So the whole time that you're playing through the
See.
game, he has a
Yeah.
gun to his head.
Mm-hmm. That's
It's like
insane.
as
Like
a
that's the detail. That is the
subconscious
detail
thing.
that makes me so excited for Kojima
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Because
And that's
he did that in 2001 with the
right,
technology that had
right,
then, like Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 2. I can only imagine
Right.
what he's gonna do with Death Stranding.
right. And
Yeah.
I do have another one that's really, really interesting, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I would want to spoil that for people that haven't played that game. But I definitely at some point want to talk about it on this podcast. So
Awesome. Well, okay. Which game is it about?
oh, it's about Metal Gear Solid 2. There's like this interesting thing about dates in there that
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like an incorrect date, but I think the incorrect date was on purpose.
Yeah.
Between
Yeah.
Rose and Raiden.
Huh?
Between Rose and Raiden.
No, it's about what is it? The date the date that that America was created.
Okay.
Mhm.
They say something about, the America was created on this date, and then it's actually a different date, and
Yeah.
the thing that actually was created is something else. But I don't know. I could
Ooh.
actually talk about it, but I don't know if it
Yeah.
would be the best place to do it
Yeah.
now or not.
But we'll definitely get back to, remember this one. We'll definitely get back to.
Put a pin in it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
But yeah, just to close off, thank you so much, all of you guys. And I would
Mhm.
definitely like to thank Albert the most, because without him, we won't be here.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Albert,
Right.
so much, because you help us make all these connections, and we want you on this podcast too.
Yes.
Yeah, I
yes.
know
What-
you're keeping yourself away from anything that's trending for now, which
Busy
is
playing game
understandable.
either?
Yeah, yeah,
Or maybe
probably
he's playing the
busy
game?
Exactly, probably busy playing and
Hopefully,
reviewing the
fingers
game.
crossed, because he deserves it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, yeah, thank you all so much. This was amazing, and I expect this to only grow. And from what I've heard from all of you guys, the best thing about it for me is that I get to learn so much, because all of you guys are from so many different fields of life, and everyone has your own taste in
Mm.
music and movies and TV and everything, like everything combined, right? And it's so good to learn about so many different things, and that's another great part of this podcast, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to create it, just to learn more about people and culture and art forms
Right.
and mediums. So thank you so much for being such amazing people. This is an amazing connection that we all have.
You too,
And
Nev.
thank you.
I'm
But
gonna
hopefully this
cry
will
again.
continue.
Stop
Oh
it.
no.
Good. We need some more chiral allergies happening.
I know. But yeah, so I think this should be a good time to end the podcast. This has been really good. But yeah, thank
Okay.
you so much, and let's do this real soon. Hopefully next week again.
Right.
And thank you to the listeners, if there will be any. But yeah, but this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
I'm sure at least I'll re-listen to it.
All right, and just to add a little it's like Johnny's just suggested something which I think is really cool. We should all sign off in our own languages. Just say something in our own language. So this would be the final send off. Let's go with Anna first.
Ciao, gente.
Awesome. Ashler, yours is going to be very simple.
Create the route.
Awesome. Johnny.
Connessi tutti alla rete neurale.
Okay, I'll have to search what you said. Okay, and Devesh.
कल तुम्हारी मुट्ठी में है.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You're pretty good.
I know.
You're pretty good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll say it in Urdu. But thank you so much again, and we'll be talking about this a lot more. So, फिर
Yeah.
मिलेंगे.
Thank you so much. चलो.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Bye.